Alright, it's Friday, last day of the week. Obviously, we're looking pretty bearish here. Previous day did wick new week opening gap and closed lower, so I'm looking for a continuation here. We do have this 4 hour for value gap we're inside of right now. On the 1 hour, you can see this candle closed through the 4 hour. You can see we took Asia's highs. Asia did displace, leaving some for value gaps. So that's opposing our bias, right? But that's fine. We did tap into this mitigation block. Looks like we're respecting it, but we're also reacting off of this 4 hour right now. So what I'm waiting for is to see how this 30-minute closes, which right now I'm not liking how it's looking. I want it to close pretty strongly lower. Actually, this could be good. This could set up pretty nicely, not gonna lie. If it respects this 5-minute and then still preferably closes not only past this 30-minute but inside of this 4 hour for value gap, then that would make me feel really confident. And I'd be looking for what would be second stage distribution here. EU is looking pretty similar. GBP just looks terrible, per usual. Looks like it is respecting that 5-minute for value gap and breaker. Good little combo. 2 minutes left in the candle. We'll see if that plays out. Alright, so price reacted off the 5-minute and then made the second leg, and I'm looking for an entry on this second stage distribution. Preferably in this 5-minute for value gap would be nice. There might be a 15-minute for value gap formed, so if this does end up forming, which with a minute and a half left on the 15-minute candle looks like it will form, then I'll just enter off the 15-minute and then still put my stop loss at the overall high and then target Asia's lows. Well, Asia's highs for euro. And then, what would that be actually? 3? Yeah. Probably just under it because I'm going to be risking 1%. Price is finally retraced, but it's not like second. Technically, this was the second stage distribution. Oh, technically, this was the second stage distribution right here. 15-minute for value gap is just now getting hit. I want to wait for euro to come back to new week opening gap, but I'm not sure if it's going to, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the trade as it is. It looks like it might give me it. Well, let's go for boom. Now let's see if it wants to push down a little bit more. I'm going to, there we go, just make sure I'm in because it already tapped it. So I do want to look at this real quick. Technically, London has just tapped into Asia to London OTE here. My take profit is slightly too big, so I'm going to drop it down where I had it before. That take profit should be fine. I'm going to notch it down to exactly 3R. So, because I'm risking $425, so that's under 1%. It's just barely under 1%. But we'll see how this goes. I knew I shouldn't have taken the trade. Why I shouldn't have taken the trade though is because yes, I was waiting for the 15-minute for value gap, right? And technically that's what came, but it wasn't the 15-minute for value gap how I usually do it. This was almost like an OTE entry, right? Where I just drop the Fibonacci and enter off of it. Alright, so I'm just going over the video, editing it, and I just want to clarify why I shouldn't have taken the trade a lot more simply. I feel like I struggle with simplifying things while I'm recording it in the moment, but why I shouldn't have taken the trade is because I missed my trade already, right? I think I say this at the end, but I just want to clear it up here. My entry models are the 30-minute engulfing, and I can just enter right after the 30-minute closes on the open of the next 30-minute candle. 5-minute for value gap after a 30-minute close, right? Which is what had already been tapped into. Or a 15-minute for value gap, or an OTE, right? And I have situations for each. Technically, the 15-minute for value gap is what I used here, but like I'm about to explain, I like the 15-minute for value gaps when it's tapped into the next or a couple candles after, not, you know, this many candles later. There, it felt more like that rather than a 15-minute. When I enter off of the fair value gaps, I like entering off of them, or like this, real quick shortly after, you know what I mean? But since the price kept on going and just, it felt like this was not a good trade. If you look at price action itself, big candles up, then it consolidates downwards, and then big candles up, and not really consolidates, but smaller candles downwards, and then boom, big candles up, right? Same thing on Euro here. So I guess it just wasn't really clean price action. Technically, I was still following my system, right? Because we have, if I go to one screen here, just make this easier. We have our daily direction. Thursday just came from the new week opening gap, right? So we have our direction. And then stage, we have a 4-hour fair value gap here that we made after closing past this opposing fair value gap. And then the entry, we have 1 hour goes through. I don't like that it closed through it, but that's not against my rules. And 30-minute engulfing. Granted, it was inside of another 30-minute FEG, but that's fine. 30-minute engulfed. So technically, I was actually chasing my trade because I have a 30-minute engulfing entry where I would just enter right as this candle closed. Then I have the 5-minute where it's tied with that, right? And that's what I was waiting for initially. This is the opening of the new 30-minute. And the entry just never came until down here, but I wasn't willing to enter off of that. And then obviously just a 15-minute. But I missed 30-minute, even though I totally could have. I need to look for this entry more. If I would have entered off this 30-minute entry, it would have been clean. Boom, stop loss, and just under 2 hour would have been hit. This entry would have been here, right at this engulfing candle, stop loss. And then I talked about a while ago, I can take profit anywhere between 1.5 to 2R. I just need to make sure I really do that if I'm going to be entering off of this 30-minute. But, oh well.